Hi, listen, I'm a diva, okay? I know what I want and I refuse to settle for less. I am high maintenance, as I was told very nicely by a friend of mine, and I don't see it as a bad thing, okay? I set my sights on higher things and I'm willing to do what it takes to bring all of it to life. And I mean that. I do what it takes. Through tears and pain, incredible joy and happiness, I show up daily and I continually asking and acting towards what I want for me and what I want for mine. Okay? Now, many times, well-meaning people have tried to undermine my confidence by telling me stories about how spiritual people have to be accepting of their lot and content with whatever they get, and all of those holy-sounding reasons that people give for staying small. And I've bought into those stories before, but no more. No more. I made a decision ages ago that I would go deeper than deep with Papa, with my higher power, and I would also learn to avail myself of abundance. I had this internal knowledge that abundance was my divine heritage, financial abundance as well as in all other areas of life, okay? And maybe you too bought into the nonsense that gave you the impression that you are not allowed to be both prosperous and deeply connected to your higher power. Well, then I take it as my divinely guided duty to ensure that I set you straight, okay? And I invite you to the deliberate life path where it's absolutely possible and in fact expected that you will experience true prosperity, which does include physical wealth as well as everything else. Okay, so now that we've established that prosperity is your heritage, how do you go about it when you just don't always know what to do? Like me, maybe you've experienced a limited form of prosperity in your job and your current life. You've lifted yourself out of the mire of a very interesting childhood. You've got yourself on a path that others think you should be happy enough with, but there's a yearning for more without an understanding about how to turn that yearning into something tangible in all areas of life. And that's how I used to be. As a pharmacist, I knew there was something more. But, how? Well, here's a simple plan for you. Number one, your connection is crucial. When I say connection, I mean connection with the divine. The life you desire will only work if you're daily cultivating that divine connection. It matters not what you call your higher power, or maybe you even call it, intuition. That's absolutely fine. That's okay. Just dump all the rules about how you have to approach the divine connection, all the religious stuff and dogma and all that stuff. No, you need to find a way that works for you. Okay, so that you are daily able to tap into the deep wisdom that is yours to avail yourself of. I personally enjoy a very intimate, real relationship with my source, and I encourage and teach clients exactly how to do that because it's critical. I see it as an absolutely critical part of your life. Don't keep this connection at arm's length. Dump the fear that religion may have instilled in you around this. Go straight to source. Ask any questions that you have. Develop a close relationship with this wisdom because as divinity, you are divinity. You're constrained in this human body at the moment, but that's how it's in that connection that you discover who you really truly are. You remember who you really truly are. Okay, you return to the true design for you as you connect to source. That's how you feel loved, and you need love in order to do what needs to be done to create your abundant life. So do you need help with that? If you do, download a free copy of my book, and I did an audio recording of the book for you. You can get that at rosemarynonnynight.com/book gift. Chapter 2 particularly covers how to get that connection, start to hear back and forth from the divine for you. Number 2 thing here, get clear on your true design. We've already kind of started to mention that, right? This may be an ongoing revelation as you go deeper and deeper into relationship with your divine partner. But take the time to daily keep distilling out who it is that you are. True prosperity in all areas of life comes when you're on the aligned path for you. I call it the narrow path to your destiny. Many will not understand why you're not content with the broad path, okay, that you're on right now, why you can't just settle and be happy with it, and why you think you can have it all. How dare you? Don't listen to them, okay? Don't listen to them. There is a longing, a yearning, a deep desire within you to live a life of waking up knowing that you are on path. Waking up knowing that you get to do only things that you want to do. Own your inner diva. Okay? And refuse to settle for less. And don't for 1 second allow yourself to believe that your higher power or your intuition demands this sacrifice from you, the sacrifice of your true self, that you're supposed to lay it down and go and do some other thing. Why? It's a lie. It's a lie told by leaders, by pastors, by parents who didn't really have the courage to tell you what I'm about to tell you. And in fact, I've already alluded to it, but They didn't really know how to tell you this. They did mean well, so forgive them, but no longer buy into their stories. As you distill out your true design, let it be as glorious as it is. Don't second guess the vision you see come into life. Just write it all down and accept that this glorious vision is a part of your divine heritage. Number 3, ignore the naysaying thoughts. Now, I was speaking to a deliberate success client a few days ago now in our weekly coaching call. And there was some uncertainty as to how to take the vision in her mind and live it out in everyday life. Everyday chaotic life, everything coming at you from everywhere. It's easy to start feeling overwhelmed, isn't it? We all come to that place where the things we think we need to do seem overwhelming. And then it's tempting to fall back, to put it down. You know what? When I'm a bit more ready, when I have a bit more time, then I will do this thing. You put it over there somewhere and you tell yourself some kind of story of, whatever you tell yourself ultimately, which means that you're not doing anything towards your true design. And as I mentioned, that is one of the reasons why some of the leaders in your life or the religious leaders or whatever would have told you, would have tried to keep you down. Why? Because they know what it's like to go after a dream when the world around you is content to stay stuck in regular life and mass thinking. It's tough, okay? I'm not trying to say it has to be horrible, but I am trying to tell you, yes, it can be tough. It can be tough when you're making that transition. You will finally discover that actually it's the easiest thing you could do, but to begin with, it will feel tough, okay? You can get overwhelmed and it's pretty hard to stay on course when you just don't know what to do next and there's lots of people and things demanding all kinds of things from you, okay? And so it can be hard to stay on course, okay? And so some leaders would have felt it was best to reduce your expectations and make the whole, just accept where you are thing seem holy, like the holy thing to do. Most people do buy into that because when the tension starts to build inside of you as you try to stay on the narrow path, it's easier to pretend that maybe your higher power doesn't really want you to do this thing, and maybe because surely if it was of God, then it would be easier for you, wouldn't it? And so then you start telling yourself things like, oh, I don't want to burn out and I don't want to get stressed out and I don't want to have panic attacks and all of this stuff because maybe you had them in the past when you were on the wrong path for you, okay, and now you think that it's going to happen again. It won't. Or maybe you tell yourself that you're not cut out for this thing because if it was your true design, surely it would be easy peasy lemon squeezy. And I get all of that. I've told myself all of these stories before, really. And I having come out of depression, I've told myself, oh, if I'm not careful, I might get really depressed again. And it's like, no, actually, I won't. Why? Because I'm on the right path for me right now. And yes, these are real fears. I don't diminish them at all. But I say this to you. You've spent years forcing your awesomely shaped self into an ill-fitting hole, okay? It wasn't the right hole for you. And that became your normal. And now it feels kind of weird and pretty scary to return to your awesome self. It feels alien. It feels like, oh, there's too much space here. I'm not sure I can do this. But that's just simply growing pains. You can handle it. So ignore the thought that you're not cut out for this. You are. You will not burn out on your purpose path. You may get tired, of course, and you take a break. Deliberately. You take a break. And you keep on moving. That's all. The end. No dramatics required about past experiences when you were on the wrong path for you. Remember, your vision is your permission, and you are absolutely the one person capable of living out the vision that you have for your life. The only person. Okay? So bear that in mind. So get rid of those naysaying thoughts. Number 4, daily ask this question. So back to that client that I started talking about before I kind of got slightly distracted. What I did with her when she said, oh, how am I supposed to do all of this stuff? I said, ask this question. What is the teeniest, tiniest thing that I can do to move towards my vision in whatever area of your life it is that you're, okay? And then listen for guidance. That's why the divine connection is absolutely crucial. Listen for guidance because it will immediately flash into your mind. Capture it. Don't second guess it. Don't overthink it. Act on what you get. And remember, life can be messy. So ask the question for every area of life every single day, as many times as you need to. Overwhelm is a choice. And also, it's not necessarily a state you need to remain in if you simply focus on the next tiny little step. You don't need to think about the whole big picture. That is overwhelming for anybody, especially if your vision is big. But just think about the next little step in any area of your life, okay, where you're feeling a little bit like, oh. And as you ask this question repeatedly, you'll find that some things you spend time on are just unnecessary, and you can dump those things and simplify your life. reducing overwhelm. Hey, my diva life, or the deliberate life, it's a lot simpler than it used to be. I have allowed what needed to fall away, and I focus in on the key things, or the key things that bring my vision to life, that bring it to physical reality. It didn't happen all at once, but every so often I look at my life and I'm amazed at how streamlined it mostly is. There are still areas that need to be refined, but I've come a heck of a long way from being pulled in every direction. And now I know my path, and I don't really allow anything to pull me off it. Okay? So you start where you are right now to ask this question: what is the teeniest, tiniest thing I can do next to bring my vision to life? And when it feels right, dare to let some of the stuff that you are just holding on to, let it go, and only act on things that bring you closer to your big vision. In all areas of life, okay? I'm not just talking about any one area, all areas of life. It's relevant that you start to prune out the stuff that you don't really need to have anymore, and then just start taking little steps in each of the different areas. Okay? Number 5, and the final point here, is clean and clear. Clean and clear. As we started to mention in the last point, there will be some cleaning and clearing to do in order to live that life of abundance, freedom, fulfillment. There's stuff you're gonna have to drop, man. And I was talking about external stuff mostly in the last point, but here there's gonna be, in this point, I really want to address internal stuff, of which there will be a lot more even sometimes than the external stuff. The reason you're holding on to the external stuff is because there's internal need to hold on to it, and you want to clear that stuff, then you're able to let go of anything on the outside. Guilt, shame, fear, childhood hurts, weird unnecessary anger that you're not quite sure how to get under control anymore, religious dogma, all of this stuff that holds you back, or family traditions that you feel loyal to that hold you back as well, and so much more. That only ever they only come up, they only rear their ugly heads when you decide to step firmly onto the deliberate life. Because for the most part, you can ignore them, because in your broad path life, everybody seemed to have these issues, and it became the normal. Whereas when you choose to live that life of abundance, of fulfillment, of freedom, you have to handle this stuff, because you can't be carrying all this luggage with you, basically, on the narrow path. It just doesn't work, okay? And this is another reason why, some of your well-meaning authority figures would have tried to keep you from this path, because it can be tough to clean and clear this emotional stuff. And in fact, most people like you and I, we want to pretend that it doesn't exist. I, for a long time, pretended that it didn't exist, that it's only for other people that are weak or something. That's the only people that need to sort out their internal crazy. That was nonsense, just so you know. That was nonsense, because it does exist. And there's no avoiding it if you're sincere in your quest for freedom. Okay? So be willing to do the internal work. We don't want to navel gaze forever. So I'm not saying go all the way to the other side where the only thing you're doing is trying to find out what is wrong with me. Yeah, we want to clean and clear. And you will find that as you get clean and clear, that actually prosperity and stepping into abundance becomes so much easier. But at the same time, we don't want to be stuck there. There's still action to be taken. Okay? We still want to do what intuition asks us to physically do, at the same time doing the clean and clearing. But we want to also find out what is blocking our path so that it is as easy as possible. Because yes, we recognize that it can be tough to make the transition. But you know what? Let's release anything that will make it any more hard than it need to be. And we do that by doing the work of clearing our internal stuff. And I put something together actually for free for this community. It's called Release, Release, Release. And you can get it at rosemarynonnynight.com/release now. It's one method that I show my clients, so use it and move forward. Okay, so those are the 5 things. Now, you always know what to do next in order to step into abundance. It's calling you to it, but sometimes the things you need to do are unfamiliar or hard. And you might need to put in new habits, new disciplines around them so that it become normal to you. Choose to be that person who intuitively and deliberately cultivates a life of abundance, of freedom, of fulfillment, because it's your divine heritage, if you will claim it. And by the way, as I mentioned earlier, you can download a free copy of my book and its audio accompaniment, Pray, Affirm, Receive, How to Get Clear, Stay Clear, and Take Action to Get What You Want Out of Life. You can get a copy of that at rosemarynonnynight.com/book gift. You can get that for free. It's my gift to you as you choose to explore the deliberate life. Until the next time, my honey, much amazing love. It's been a pleasure.